Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us. It is August the 16th, 2025. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mike Overson, Luminate Bank, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill, with the Minnesota Real Estate Team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus. In studio, Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection. Scott and Mike are going to be joining us very soon here as well. Appreciate you joining us. This is a live show, an interactive show. We always welcome questions, comments, thoughts anytime. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. Again, 612-294-6949 with any questions, comments, thoughts. Got a lot to talk about today. Steve, you ready for a fun show?
Ready. It's raining. It's a beautiful day. Does the state fair start today, or what's the first day?
It is next week, I believe.
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday. It's coming.
We're getting ramped up for that.
Coming up soon. Again, thanks for joining us. Here comes Scott and Mike, and just in time, Mike. Just in time, like he planned it.
Yep.
Here we go. We're going live on air. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And just in time, Mike. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us. Hope your weekend is starting off well. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mike Overson of Luminate Bank, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. We appreciate you joining us every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We always welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. 612-294-6949. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. And a lot going on in the real estate market. And Scott, Mike, good morning to you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning, Ryan.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. First part of the hour, we like to get into the two updates. We like to talk a little bit about what's going on in the mortgage market and what's going on in the Twin Cities. And why don't we just jump right in?
Yeah, again, Mike, big interest rate news this week. What was cooking, bud?
I don't know if it's necessarily big interest rate news. It's definitely, a lot of talks out there right now as far as we know the Feds and what they're planning on doing and hopefully lowering rates a couple times yet this year. If we look a couple Fridays ago, we had a jobs report that came in weak that lowered our interest rates by a quarter. And then since then, we've held that. So we're, a lot of conventional loans, 6.375, 6.5. I even got one down to 6.125 this week. I did a VA loan at 5.99, another VA loan at 5.875. So it's just kind of that, we take the next step forward and we hold it for a while. Then hopefully take another step forward and we hold it for a while. And then hopefully as the year goes on, we just kind of trickle down slowly and maybe we get conventionals in the high fives by the end of the year.
Hey, Mike, maybe explain to people, because I get, I'll get calls from clients that are like, hey, I'm thinking about using this lender. I'm going to get a 4.5% rate. And I'm like, no, you're not. And they said, oh, no, it is. And I said, no, you're not, because rates are rates. So when you said I locked some people in at 6 3/4, a couple people at 6.5, and even had somebody at 6.15, what is the determining factor? Because the rate's the rate. Yeah. But what you're able to get, what are the factors that determine that?
Yeah, there's a ton of factors that go into what interest rate you can get. And the same exact person, same credit score, same down payment amount, things like that, if you're underneath a certain income level. So if one person is at $105,000 for the year and the other person is $103,000 for the year, that person that's $103,000, I can get them a 0.25% lower interest rate just because there's a program out there where if you're underneath a certain income level, you get a break in your interest rate. So I get that question a lot. It's like, well, my neighbor just got this, or my friend just got this. Why am I here? And I'm like, well, we don't know everything about them, but I'm guessing this is why they are able to get a lower rate, or that's why their rate was higher, whatever the case may be. But just know that I think I've covered this. There's like 31 factors that go into what type of rate you can get, where there's like 17 main ones: credit score, down payment, income level, property type. So all those things can affect your interest rate, and that's why, rates are a little bit different from people to people.
Hey, we got some phone lines ringing here. You're always welcome to call in 612-294-6949. You can call us or text us. It comes right to the studio. We are live here at WCCO, and really good news. The Great Minnesota Get Together is starting on Thursday. Scott, we're going to be live from the show next Saturday, buddy.
Yes, very, very, very thrilled. We get the pleasure to do this every year at the
I love the fair.
I know you do, at the state fair, and no, it actually is fun. We're right next to what are we next to? We're next to St. Martha's.
Cookies.
Martha's Cookies. So yeah, come out next week. Same hours. We start about 5 after 10. It's a lot of fun, and you can meet some of the guys in person.
We're going to go to our first caller here, Ron. Thank you for calling the Minnesota Real Estate Show. How can we best help?
Yes, my name's Ron, and I was wondering about this hypothetical. Let's say I have a house that I want to sell for $300,000, and a buyer comes in and says, "Well, it's probably worth it because of the market value, but it needs a lot of work, so I'll give you $250,000." So I say to him, "Tell you what, you sign it up for $280,000, and we'll write it in where I'll give you $20,000 cash at closing," which means that I would only lose $20,000 instead of $50,000. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yep. Unfortunately, great question. I'm surprised we haven't got this question asked more than we have. Unfortunately, it's illegal to give money back to a buyer in a transaction unless the lender is notified of it, because it's looked on as a kickback. So what happens in a situation like that is the lender is lending on $280,000 because that's what you guys have said is the sale price. But it really isn't the sale price because you're giving 20 grand back to the buyer. So the real sale price is 260. Lenders don't like doing that. They don't like lending money on anything that's not the house. And in this case, they would be lending the additional 20,000. It's very creative, and trust me, back in the day, this used to be done a lot. But it's actually an illegal transaction. You can't do it.
Yeah, it's again very good question, Mike. Any thoughts from just a mortgage standpoint on that one?
I mean, Scott hit the nail on the head, right? You can't do cash back on purchases like that. It's not allowed. Like Scott said, back in the day, it used to be done, but then heavy regulations came out against that. And there's probably no lenders that I know of that would touch something like that.
But here's what bugs me. Okay, here's what bugs me. So
keep it brief.
Yeah, keep it brief.
I'm just kidding.
These are the things in real estate that bother me. So I do a walkthrough. Okay, I do a walkthrough the day of closing.
Okay.
And the washer and dryer don't work. Okay, they're just on the fritz. They don't work. So we need $1,500. So when we go back to the closing table, we go to the closing table and say, "Hey guys, when we went through the washer and dryer don't work. Will you guys mind paying the $1,500?" And the seller says, "Oh, of course so." They write a check for $1,500. Nobody blinks. It's the same thing. It's just on a different level. But the reality is you can't do it. It's illegal. But that has always bothered me because you're still giving $1,500 back. It's just not $20,000, but it's still illegal in the sense that you're not allowed to do it.
Well, and I think, Mike, you'd probably say from a mortgage standpoint, maybe in that case, they would have to pay the vendor directly. So let's pay Maytag or Best Buy or whoever. You're paying directly, providing a receipt. So in other words, the monies are not going directly to the parties.
Or the easier way to do it is just have that seller pay $1,500 worth of the buyer's closing costs at the table.
Yeah.
So that would be a way to do that, and that's completely legal.
That's right.
And then now the buyer brought $1,500 less to closing the house, and then they'll go take care of the washer dryer on their own.
Or the reality, the seller writes them a check for $1,500 for the washer dryer at closing.
True.
But anyway.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you listening. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. The Great Minnesota Get Together is starting up soon. We're going to be there next weekend. And again, we appreciate you joining us. After the break, we're going to do a little market update here from a real estate standpoint as well. Before I do, however, I did want to touch on an open house today down in Savage, 7013 Connolly Court in Savage. It's open today from 11 to 1, and tomorrow 1 to 3. Marie Rivard has this one listed with our team. It's a 3-bed, 4-bath, 2-car garage home, almost 3,000 square feet, listed for $480,000. Marie says it's a great opportunity to explore life in the natural sanctuary of Connolly Ponds. It's a small townhouse community in Savage, plenty of privacy. House hunting or curious, stop by. So 3-bed, 4-bath. Again, the address is 7013 Connolly Court in Savage. Be sure to check that open house out today, 11 to 1. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show.
The Original Mattress Factory, you often hear us say.
Hey, thanks for the nice comments. My dear sister Mary is watching. Mary, it's funny. She said, "You're wearing glasses. What's going on?" I
was gonna
do.
comment. Those are actually really nice. Actually, today. Today.
I had somebody. I literally bought them for $1 at Dollar. I just went. They're cheaters. But then I had somebody. I was on a Zoom the other day. This is kind of funny. And Jaylyn, who I work with, Jaylyn afterwards, she's like, "Ryan, I don't know about those glasses. They look kind of feminine on you."
Well, they are feminine. But the bigger glasses are like the thing now.
Really?
Yes, yeah. No, I thought you looked good, and I thought you looked feminine, but that goes without saying.
So, Mary, thanks for your comment. Tony Ashworth says cash under the table is always best.
Always best.
Good morning, Julie Harris. Lots of others. Thank you for the nice comment. It is interesting because that's what got us into the big. One of the reasons is people would write it up for 500 grand and then give 100 grand back, and the place was only worth 350.
That's right.
And then they don't pay the mortgage, and then Mike gets the property back.
Well,
Yeah.
it is the definition of mortgage fraud.
Yeah.
I mean, and for as bad a word as that sounds, there was a time back in the end of 2005 through about the end of 2006 where Susie Q, that has been an agent for 40 years, that's now in her 70s, would write an offer for a client and ask for a marketing fee of $30,000 back.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a short time where it just became
It's the norm.
the norm. It was weird. And then all of a sudden everybody realized, no, this is illegal.
It was silly.
You can't do it. But it was the wild west there for a while.
Yeah. Quick break. We're going back live on CCO. Feel free to ask any questions too. Share any comments. Hey, welcome back to the second act of the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We appreciate you joining us. This is a live show. We're at WCCO. Welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. 612-294-6949 is how you can reach us. Before we hit that market update number, Scott, Laura Antolik, awesome agent. 1 year she won Agent of the Year.
Yes, she did.
Agent of the Year for our team. She's kind of the open house queen, would you say?
She is. Laura is a person that it's impossible not to like.
Yeah.
There's me, and then there's Laura.
Yeah.
It's impossible not to like us.
Yeah, Laura is. She's just an absolute sweetheart, but she does a lot of open houses and does very well. She has one in Farmington, 4876 191st Street West in Farmington, listed for $508,000. It is a move-in ready modified 2-story. It's got high ceilings, lots of light, 3,400 square feet. It's got updated kitchen, new stainless steel appliances, granite countertops. There's 3 very nice sized bedrooms, 2 baths on the upper level. Lower level's got an amusement room, a family room, gas fireplace, tons of updates throughout. There's a great landscaping, irrigation system, fenced in backyard with a deck. She's doing an open tomorrow, Sunday, the 17th, 12 to 2. 4876 191st Street West in Farmington. Laura Antolik for 508. Mike, you do a lot of deals with Laura too. I mean, she's a great agent.
She's a great agent. She knows what she's doing. She's just got the experience and the knowledge to kind of handle any situation that comes up. So she is great.
How about a quick market update, guys? New listings up 2% year over year. 1,514 new listings. Pending sales down 8.3%. 979. Pending sales or accepted offers, and the inventory's up 3.4%, 10,304. We're over 400,000, 401 is the median sales price. And just the last thing maybe you all could comment on, I was reading an article last night that in some states, they're looking at increasing taxes significantly on property owners over $1 million as a way to capture revenue, but also as a way to try to people that rent or do Airbnb to try to get rid of those to have it be more owner-occupied properties. So there's like 5 or 6 states that are doing that. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? You own $1 million property and you're going to get, because of the value of the property, you're going to get whacked even harder on property taxes.
Yeah, I mean, again, well, you know me, I'm not for anything that you're force feeding. I immediately go to my grandmother that's been in her house for 40 years that paid $60,000 for it. Now it's worth $1.2 million, and on her Social Security, she can barely, pay for groceries and everything else. And now what? Her taxes are going to be $2,500 a month. So I'm not in favor. I'm not in favor of putting your nose in anything. Just let the free market take care of it. And yeah.
Mike, any thoughts?
The same way. It's like the upper bracket, they get hit with higher income taxes. Now they're going to get higher property taxes. It's one of those things where it's, I guess I'm not a fan of it. I don't know if there's a different way to do it. I mean, I'm sure there's a different way to do it, but yeah, I'm just not a fan of just singling out, I guess, a certain demographic and having them pay for it.
Had a question come in that was just regarding APR. What is APR versus just the interest rate that you hear?
Great question. So the APR is a very confusing calculation that the government came up with. So someone can look at two loan quotes and say, okay, which one's better for me? Okay. So the APR.
That sounded like AI. That was like an AI response there.
So the APR is a combination of the actual interest rate you're going to pay plus the closing costs you're going to pay. Okay. So if you're going to get a 6.5% interest rate and there was zero closing costs to pay to get that rate, your APR would also be 6.5. Okay. But if you're going to pay, let's say $13,000 in closing costs to get that 6.5% interest rate, well, they take that $13,000 over the next 12 months and they turn it into a percentage. So now your APR is going to be, let's say 6.75, right? So the actual interest rate is 6.5, but you're actually paying an effective interest rate of 6.75 because you had to pay those closing costs to get that rate. So if you get different quotes, it's a different rate, for this lender versus that lender, but this one's got smaller closing costs. This one's got bigger closing costs. How do you compare the two? Look at the APR. The APR kind of does the calculation for you so you can see which one's the better deal.
Hey, Scott, Steve, and Mike, I just wanted to give a little shout out this week. When after college, when I first moved to Bloomington, I rented a room for my brother, Tim. Tim had a house in Bloomington and there were 4 or 5 of us living together. As a young person, a lot of people do that. And I lived with just a wonderful human being. Her name is Shauna Dietz.
Yes.
Shauna Dietz, now Shauna Nelson. We lived, there were 4 or 5 of us in the house, lived there for a couple of years. Shauna, unfortunately, just terribly is dying of cancer. And this past week, she had a kind of a celebration of life for her while she's still living. And I'll talk about, like the whole town of New Prague showed up. And it was just really special. Shauna is just a wonderful human being. It was obviously very sad, but just for people to be able to give her a hug and tell her what she meant to them during her life. I don't know. It was pretty special, guys. So I just wanted to give a shout out from the Minnesota Real Estate Show to Shauna, her family. We're thinking of you. We're praying for you. We love you. But what a wonderful event, Scott. Literally, there was probably 600, 700 people, huge, long line. It was pretty special.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I thought it was awesome. And, I've said that for years that, if you had a family member, because, think about when you go to a celebration of life after they're dead and all the wonderful things that are said about this person and that everybody thinks about them. Well, that's something that when you are alive, you don't get to hear necessarily. So I thought this was just great because, everybody can say what they want to say. You're able to hear it. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. So again, just wanted to give a shout out to Shauna and her entire family. Scott, we got some birthdays today. Courtney Mays,
yes,
great agent on the Minnesota real estate team. Happy birthday. Miss Courtney's big birthday is today. Mike and Steve Stalak. Steve, you've been waiting so patiently. Listen to us kind of jib jab here. What do you think?
Well, it's an exciting show. I've just been riveted to interest rates and money under the table. This is exciting.
You commented before the show, mentioned you've had some cancellations. Talk a little bit. It's an interesting phenomenon.
I just was reflecting on trends that I'm seeing. I'm a half a step away from your transactions, and I found it interesting that pendings and accepted offers is down.
Yeah.
what I've seen over the last several weeks is I'll get something booked. It's all scheduled, ready to go, and then a day before, it's like, oh, Steve, we have to cancel. We're not moving forward with the deal. So, I usually would maybe get one of those every month or so, and now it's like all of a sudden, maybe it's just me, but it seemed like every week I'm getting a handful of those. And I'm just wondering, what's happening in the market that might be reflecting that.
What do you think, Scott?
Well, I think that probably a lot of the, and maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that a lot of the cancellations might be in the entry level, first time home buyer market, because and we had this discussion. Somebody's going to win. Okay, if there's 10 offers, I always tell my buyers, good news and bad news. Unfortunately, sometimes you're going to lose, but then eventually you're going to win. And then what creeps into your head is, oh my gosh, we just paid more for this house than 15 other people did. And that's where the remorse comes in, because everybody has human nature panic. This is the reversal of that. Oh my gosh, we got the house. Did we pay too much? Did we do this too much? Did we do this too much? And the reality is, no, you were probably $1,000 off from the other homes, but that is what creeps in. And so you do get buyer's remorse.
I would say reflecting on the instances that I've seen, they have been entry-level homes and younger buyers.
Yeah.
So I think there must be a cold feet kind of phenomenon.
Hey, random comment. So with the Minnesota real estate team, every couple of weeks, we do a fun little team training about something. Well, of course, everybody's talking about AI. So this coming Tuesday, we're doing a little AI training.
I'm training. I'm teaching. I'm teaching it. So there'll be standing room only.
Yeah. So Scott and I were having some fun last night. I was sharing some AI with Scott. I said I entered into Grok or Gemini or whatever it was. I said, tell me about Scott Wolmering, and it kind of spit out, who Scott Wolmering is, and I said, Grok, is Scott Wolmering a nice person? And then it went on, and it gave a very nice response. And then I said, let's get a little more personal. I said, do you think Scott Wolmering will get married again?
And it said, we can't find any information on that.
It was like a very nice response. And it said, well, would you like me to do more digging?
Yeah, that stuff's creepy to me still. Although I did, for the first time, I downloaded Grok last night after this, and it is very cool. One of the things that Ryan was bringing up, which I thought was cool, is that you can role play. You can role play, and that the AI, so if you say be a hard customer, be aloof, and then that's how they role play it. But then it actually learns when you're doing well. It starts being less aloof.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that's actually pretty cool.
So scripting, kind of practicing.
And it actually figures out, okay, this person's doing what they're supposed to be doing in it, so I'm getting less aloof. And bottom line is, like I said, it scares the crap out of me. Think about caddies, Steve. You got an AI caddy. They come up, they go, oh, the wind's 2 miles out of the left. You're 122.3 inches from the hole. Hit it 4 feet. I mean, it's like, what are you going to need caddies for? Just have a little robot there that's AI.
It is interesting, but that whole role-playing aspect, I think for salespeople, kind of in all industries, they're using it where literally you can hold your smartphone and talk, and the person and the AI kind of role plays with you. And so a lot of agents, brokers are using it in that capacity to practice talking to people. You meet somebody at an open house. What do you say? You meet a new customer that just registered on your website. It's an interesting phenomena.
Yeah, it's still scared. It still scares me to death. It does.
We'll see what it says, though. I'll keep asking more about Scott Wolmering here, and we'll see. Hey, we're up against the halfway point here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're going to talk in a little more detail with our friend, Mr. Steve Stalock. Steve is one of our great partners from MN Real Estate Show. If you go to MN Real Estate Show, you can see all of the outstanding folks we work with in about every category imaginable when it comes to housing. Please check them out. Great folks, awesome customer service. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. AI, Mike, do you use AI much? You don't?
Not a whole lot.
I'm surprised knowing you.
Not a whole lot. I
I
don't.
prefer actual intelligence. That's the kind of AI I like.
The actual.
Artificial intelligence has a very narrow application. It's fine. It's interesting, to do conversation training. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about something actually consequential,
Well,
I want actual information.
the other thing too, and not to
No, go
interrupt,
ahead.
is Grok has this one feature everybody's talking about now that's called Imagine. So what you can do is you can take a picture, and then what it does is it creates like a 3 to 5 second video, which is actually kind of cool. And but it's also, again, a little bit freaky. But like, say you take an old picture of, I don't know, I'll take a picture of my mom or dad or something from the 60s, and you can put it into Imagine. And what it does is it shows them kind of interacting a little bit. And it's so everybody's talking about this Imagine on at least on Twitter. That's a big thing.
Well, what about the date? What about the dating stuff? It's like 63% or 53% of Americans have downloaded the AI dating, and where they believe they're in a relationship with basically their phone, because they create a person.
Basically.
And I'm like, well, yeah, of course of course it's hot, because you can create someone that every time you come home, they're like, oh my gosh, Scott,
So you might get married again.
you look so tall. You look so tall today, Scott. Yeah, you're just, it literally tells you what you want to hear. Well, and of course, people are like, why would I ever be in a relationship? This is awesome.
Yeah.
That's just weird. It's like a whole another level of weird.
My mind goes to Terminator 2 every time.
Yes. We've learned nothing.
Right. We have not.
Terminator 2. Hey, we're already quick breaks today. We're going back live here. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Here we go. Welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We appreciate you joining us. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us at any point. Want to touch on a couple listings. Ted Bergstrom has one, Scott, in Victoria. 674.9 for this property. It's 2405 Acorn Point. It is a stunning Victoria property, 6-bed, 4-bath, over 4,100 square feet. It's got vaulted open, it's a vaulted open concept on the main level, 4 bedrooms up, including a large primary suite. Beautiful lot featuring a large deck, front covered patio. We got some open houses today, Saturday 1 to 3, and then tomorrow, Sunday 12 to 2. That's 2405 Acorn Point in Victoria for 674.9. And then one other one, Scott, David Myers got one in Hudson, across the river here, 82 Coach Light Drive for $540,000. It is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 3-car home. It's in the Lighthouse neighborhood of Hudson. Very well maintained, open, welcoming floor plan. You got a large walk-in primary with a walk-in closet, hardwood and tiled flooring, 6-panel doors, great lower level. And you got a large deck also. It says allows for comfortable evenings, coffee in the morning. Home is move-in ready. You got, again, new carpet in 2025. The heat and AC, fall of 2022. The roof, siding, lots of updates. And they even got a Cal Spa, swim spa that's staying, Scott. Fun. And a fence, new in 2021. 82 Coach Light Drive in Hudson, 540. Hudson, people love Hudson, Scott.
I love those Cal spas. I just don't know if I would ever use them. Have you ever seen them where you can swim against the current? And yeah, I don't know. That's a real workout, swimming.
Dude, when you sink like a rock like me, yeah.
Yeah. You, Rye, do you ever use a Cal Spa at all? Or
I don't even know what that is. A Cal Spa?
Yeah.
It's like a long pool in your house, and it jets water against you, so you can
An
swim
endless
against the
pool.
current.
I have a
It's like a-
bathtub. That's close enough. I think, right?
It's like a pool treadmill.
Yeah, it's like a pool treadmill.
Oh, I got a treadmill, but it's covered in clothes right now.
You
So,
can do it, Rye. I can see you. You're fit.
Yeah, I try not to be fit though. I just happen to.
Well,
look
Ryan,
like-
you and I, we can just swim around in the tub.
I
these
got my-
big guys can't do it. We can get our laps in.
As long as we got swimsuits on, Scott.
Hey,
I'm ready.
Ryan, by the way, we are glad you're letting your hair grow. You got to let that thing keep going for another month, 2 or 3.
The barber that I told you about, last time I got my haircut, he didn't cut it as short as I normally get it. So now my seasonal haircut, it seems like I need it now, but I still have a few weeks left.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Oh, all right.
Let it go. Let it go flow. Let it go flow.
Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection. We always appreciate you, friend. You're a great partner a longtime home inspector, a longtime partner on the show. What's cooking in your world? Anything new or exciting?
Well, cooking, it is summer, it's hot. But if you noticed in the grocery stores, we're starting to see Halloween candy and in some areas some Christmas candy. So honestly, I've seen that. So to all homeowners out there, just a heads up, you need to start planning about winter. Think about getting your furnace serviced. Now would be the time. Looking at other things in preparation for, the heating season. I'd say be thinking about that now. Get on calendars for those kind of services, because if you're pushing it and you're not taking care of it, you're going to be, delayed being able to get anyone out to your house to take a look at that furnace to get it tuned up.
So before we get any further in this, so Steve did an inspection for me yesterday with one of my clients out in Shakopee, and just a little kudos for you. So I normally show up for 10 minutes after Steve's kind of been through the bullet thing. So I'm downstairs talking with my client and his parents. And his parents, it was kind of like when someone has cancer, they were kind of quiet. They're like, that Steve Stalock is incredible. He's such an incredible inspector. I said, he's really good. I mean, he knows everything. I said, yeah, that's why we hire him. If it's there, he'll find it.
Yeah, you're like a real version AI,
That's
Steve.
right.
That's why I said AI to me is actual intelligence. No, I don't know everything, but I do try to teach. So actually, before you showed up, I had been through a lot of my findings already, and first time home buying client, and I just wanted to teach them about, not just the 2 or 3 things that I found that were maybe broken or need to be addressed, but everything in the house, how it works.
Yep.
And when I got through the first round of information, they're like, holy cow, we had no idea that's what was going to happen here.
Yeah.
So teaching to me is a big part of it.
Yeah, I had a text question come in again. You can join us. We are live here in downtown Minneapolis at WCCO, 612-294-6949. This one says, guys, are you seeing less pressure on townhomes specifically versus single family homes? And then does that translate to VA offers being easier to get through? So less kind of demand on townhomes, Scott.
I would say yes and yes. I have seen less demand on townhomes because there's some stickler points now with insurances and HOAs and so I have seen people shy away from them. The counteracting of that is they're still affordable. So from a real entry point, you can still get into some townhomes. So there is still a little pressure, but there's definitely been an ebb off on townhomes.
Mike, any thoughts lending perspective wise?
So one thing to remember, a lot of townhomes out there are actually legally condos,
Yep.
right? So I don't know if, Scott, if you had to take a guess, you see you got 100, quote unquote townhomes listed out there. What percentage of them would actually be condos?
90, 80.
I mean, that's
80%.
a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
What does that mean though? I don't understand that.
Yeah, so it looks and feels like a townhome, lives like a townhome, right?
Yeah.
So you look at it, it's like, what type of property is that? Oh, it's a townhome all day long.
Yeah,
Well,
because I'll interrupt quick because if you ask someone what's a townhome, they'll say it's the building that looks like it's a single family home except it's connected. And what's a condo? They look like apartments. That's how people distinguish them, and that's not the case.
Sure.
yeah, it's not the case. So you can have a
That was
townhome-
not AI.
That was not AI. That was Scott I.
That was Scott I. So the difference is that when they built the community there, the development with these townhomes in there, if they didn't give each unit its own specific chunk of land that you own underneath it, it's a condo. So basically, if there's 40 units in this development and they left the piece of land, one big chunk of land, you're a 1/40th owner of the whole piece of land. You don't own the actual individual sliver that's underneath your property. And so that's what makes it a condo. And so there's a ton of townhomes out there that's marketed as a townhome. Everyone would say it's a townhome. It's legally a condo. And then you run into all the condo stuff that we're seeing on the financing end.
Yeah, again, I had a question come in for Steve as well. Steve, do you do sewer inspections?
A lot of inspectors do that. It's a nice ancillary business. I've chosen not to. There's good, reliable contractors out there who do a fantastic job, and it's just a service I've chosen not to take on and do.
Yeah, sewer. It's interesting. It's probably a whole nother level of.
Yeah, so it'd be something that's not in the scope of what a home inspector can verify. I run a lot of water through a home, and if you see a backup, that's certainly what I'm looking for. But to put a camera down through that sewer line. Even, a lot of times you think older homes are going to have tree roots or some other kind of damage, and that's really what you're looking for. But even in new construction, sometimes there's mistakes made, and you don't realize that the sewer connection is not a good connection, and maybe there's something obstructing it, or it's leaking out into the ground. So that's what the sewer camera would do. And I think it's a good, important thing that a lot of homeowners, or when you're considering purchasing a home, something important to consider doing.
Are you seeing a lot of home inspectors use AI?
I believe so. My inspection software has it integrated. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
It's modestly useful.
Are
Okay.
you seeing people that used to be inspectors use AI? Ryan is just deep.
I am kind of curious because Steve and I were talking a little bit beforehand, because he said, sometimes I just don't like the way the language comes out. And I think in response, what the people that are diehard AI people, what they'll do is they keep kind of talking, they'll keep kind of fine tuning it. So they'll say, hey, make it sound more this, or, different prompts that they'll have.
And there's different AI engines, and over time it'll probably improve the language, but still a big part of what my service is how I communicate. And personally, the end product coming out of AI engines isn't acceptable to me. I need to do better. I just it's a style thing, but it's also to be succinct and direct and accurate. And the AI engines just aren't doing it.
Hey, I saw a bunch of emails floating around on the Minnesota real estate team. We've got a team email giving Mr. Mike Overson a nice shout out. They were asking about, hey, I need a lender in Woodbury. Mike, you guys work all over. I mean, you lend all over the state, Wisconsin. I mean, you and your team are lending all over the place.
Yep. Licensed in 50 states. Am I an expert in every state? Absolutely not.
But
right?
for sure, Woodbury.
But for sure, Woodbury.
Yeah, you can definitely do Woodbury.
Yeah, you put something in Woodbury, I know pretty much every answer there. But but I, like me personally, I do a bunch in Minnesota. I do a lot in Wisconsin, Florida, Arizona, California. There's just certain states like where the business just seems to come from. So I'm very familiar in those states. But we are technically licensed in all 50 states. And it's one of those things where if it's a state I'm not too familiar with, well, we have loan officers that are physically located there that either I'll refer to that loan officer because they know more, or I'll just get the help from that loan officer just to make sure we're doing things the right way. But we love to help everyone, and we're kind of nationwide here.
Yeah, again, we're up against the final break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us at any point. Fong Kao has got a great listing in Brooklyn Park, 3401 74th Circle North in Brooklyn Park for $330,000. And he said it's got an open layout. It's a quiet street in a cul-de-sac, four-season porch, spacious bedrooms, a sauna in the lower level, and it's a great location. Again, 3401 74th Circle North in Brooklyn Park for $330,000. And we've got one other one to touch on. Michelle Lay has a nice one, Scott, in Hugo. $995,000 for this 4716 Fable Road North. It's a detached villa home backing up to Clearwater Park Reserve. It's got 14-foot vaulted ceiling living room ceilings with handcrafted wood beams, a gourmet kitchen, heated bar countertops, primary suite. It's got great views, luxury bath, walk-in closet. Updates throughout the home, fully finished walkout basement, and the exterior amenities include a screen porch with glass windows, a grill deck, and a walkout paver patio. 4716 Fable Road North in Hugo, a very nice looking detached villa home for $995,000. Check that one out. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show.
Well, that's got to be a nice villa.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
looking at it now.
Is
Okay,
it a
yeah, it's
condo
like-
or
it's
is it a
killer.
townhome?
Yeah, right? Is a condo a beautiful?
Never heard of a detached villa home.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a Rambler, obviously. Oh, yeah, sweet.
Very nice photos, very nice comments here. Michael Lee Jenkins, a great agent on the Minnesota real estate team. She says, can you sneak in my new listing duplex? It's an up and down It's in Lester Prairie, 265, and then each unit has 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, includes garage stalls for each side, dishwasher, private utility room with a washer and dryer. Check that one out. That's in Lester Prairie. Very nice property. Michael Lee, just share, if you don't mind, share the address and I'll hit that one too. Nice comment. Thank you, Steve Highland. A wonderful guy, Coach Steve, who does an awesome job with all the agents on the Minnesota real estate team, offering support, coaching, mentoring, training. Steve says, great show, fun, funny, educational. And my sister Mary said, Scott is hilarious.
Oh, Mary, I thought that was my dating gal, Mary AI.
Mary AI.
Mary AI.
Oh, Scott, you're so
You're
funny.
so funny, Scott. Yay. I'm so glad you're home. I mean, and isn't that weird? They think about that.
Yes.
You come home and say, I had such a tough day. Oh, you deserve to have a great day, Scott. I mean, that's what this guy says.
Get a lab.
Get a dog.
Get a dog.
Yeah, I've got Starbucks.
Get it. Yeah, you should get another dog.
She's mean to me.
Get another dog. Yeah, that's we got a question we'll hit on there too. The average monthly HOA fee for a townhome or condo. And there's a couple questions. We'll hit a couple of them that have come in here. We're going back live on air. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hey, we're going to hit those questions again, Rye. I think the first one was, what was the first one there, Ryan? The question that came in?
What is an average monthly HOA fee for a townhome or condo right now?
We should have him read all the
I
questions.
know. We should,
always
Ryan.
read all the questions.
Well, we should also have him do the visual
Yes,
as well.
exactly.
What do you think?
Now I was so excited about listening to Ryan. Now I forgot the
What
question.
is
Say it
an
again.
average monthly HOA fee for a townhome or condo now?
Yes.
Mike, what do you got, buddy?
Literally, if I look at this week, the properties that some of my clients made offers on, association dues were anywhere from $292 a month up to
I was
$907.
going to say, yeah. If I was to pick an average, oh gosh, I mean, probably 500, 450, 500. It's so independent on what happened to that association. And this is going to sound bad, but frankly, over about the last 10 years, how beat up did they get during the mortgage crisis? How many people had to throw in money? What they have to raise it to? So it just depends. And you can have like the same exact unit. One has an association of 250 and it's 200, and another one has an association of 500, and that they'll probably get 125 for theirs because it's the same exact house. It's just that one association got beat up worse than the other.
Yeah, or did they get hit with a hailstorm, and so they had a huge insurance claim for
Yeah.
the roofs and the decks and this, and then they had then I got to pay for that, right? So it's all over the board, to be honest with you.
Based on recent reports and discussions,
ChatGPT.
there is no single average of HOA fees for all of Minnesota, as the cost varies significantly depending upon the type of property, location, and the amenities provided. However, a range can be provided based on different property types. General range for townhomes is $200 to $500 per month. The Twin Cities Metro fees in the metro area tend to be a little higher, often falling between $300 and $450. However, down in Mankato and Rochester, they're ranging from $180 to $300.
So we don't even need to do a show. When is AI coming out? Because we'll just stop doing the show. We can just have everybody type their questions into AI.
Well, it's funny. We have on our team, we have a little internal help desk, where agents can call us. There's like 6 or 7 brokers on the team that help new agents, everybody, phone, text, email. And it's just interesting with AI now that, I mean, literally, and again, you need the human aspect, obviously, but it's one of those things you could put it into
Well, I
AI.
guess we're going to find out if we need the human aspect.
Right.
Because we might not. We might find out we don't need the human aspect at all.
We need Ryan, though.
We need Ryan.
We need
Sure.
Ryan. Ryan, what's our other question?
No AI can talk like that.
No.
What else?
Not yet, anyway.
Not even-
Okay, what's our other question?
The other question was, can you discuss the pros and cons of contract for sale deals? I understand the laws have changed in 2024.
Contract for deed.
Contract for deed. Not seeing a lot of those. Mike, why don't you talk about it from a lender perspective?
Yeah, it's the normal on our end. So if you buy a property in a contract for deed, you're a year or two down the road after you buy the property and you're looking to get your own bank financing so you can, pay off the remaining balance on that contract. Ends up being like a refinance for us at that point. So what's the property going to appraise for? What's your balance owed? And then because your payments to that contract for deed holder don't report on credit, we do have to verify that you've made the last 12 months on time. So now you got to send us 12 months worth of canceled checks or 12 months worth of bank statements to show that you paid that mortgage payment then on time for the last 12 months. If you can do that, you're good to go.
Yeah, my quick, and then Ryan, get your thought on it, but my quick thought on a contract for deeds, if you're a buyer that has to do a contract for deed, rent until you don't have to. Contract for deeds can be very good for sellers. You get a large down payment up front. They have terms that they have to meet. If they don't meet those terms, you foreclose on the property. Doesn't take 6 months, doesn't take a year, takes 30 days, right?
Yes.
Right? 30 days on a contract, they foreclose on it when they miss a payment. I think so. And so the point is that, you put $200,000 down on a 24-month contract for deed. And then at the end of that 24 months, you still can't do a regular loan. You lose your $200,000 plus all your payments that are going in. So again, unless it's an unusual circumstance, if you're looking to buy a contract and you're a buyer, just rent until you can actually buy.
Okay, so what's your thoughts on this, right? So you're self-employed. You have a great CPA, so you haven't paid much in tax. You don't show much taxable income over the last few years, right? But the house that you must have came up, right? So you're like, all right, we're gonna have a company go buy it for us,
Yep.
right? Sell it back to us on a contract for deed, and then this coming year, I'll show enough income on my tax returns to qualify. That particular situation comes up where you actually have like a contract for deed company come in. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a little different. And like I said, that's just my quick version of. There's always other things that can work into it. Somebody that's high income, but they're not hiding, but they're doing it on their taxes. But I'm saying that just in general, I just get the sense that a lot of buyers want to feel like they bought something, so they buy a contract for deed, and it's risky.
Steve Staylock, Win Home Inspection. What else do you have for us, bud? Anything else home inspection wise or thoughts for us today?
Well, if you are actively looking to purchase and you're about to put down a purchase agreement, reach out to an inspector, get on their calendar. I'm pretty busy, so usually running 4 to 5 days out. And if you're writing with a 3-day or 4-day contingency, you need to get on their calendar.
How do people reach you?
Well, my phone number is 952-891-4455. No one wrote that down. So what you do is you go to the website for the
MN Real Estate Show.
MNRealEstateShow.com. And you look at the preferred partners, click on that. It'll have home inspectors, and just look for that handsome bald guy. That's me.
Yeah, the handsome bald guy. We appreciate you, Steve. Wonderful job as always.
Well, thanks.
I just wanted to share with everyone. I asked Gemini. I said, "Is Scott Wolmering in Minnesota a very nice person?" Scott Wolmering is a real estate agent in Minnesota, known for his work in the Twin Cities metro area. He's been in the real estate industry for 20 years, a nationally recognized expert in local residential sales. He's consistently earned top honors for sales volume. Clients have left numerous positive reviews, etc. So I said, but is he nice? And they responded, based upon the available information, Scott Wolmering's clients have described him as professional, responsive, trustworthy, and hardworking. They've stated that he and his team make the process of buying and selling a home easy, and that he goes above and beyond. Reviews also mention that he is knowledgeable. And then I said, is he odd? Based on the information available, there is no mention of Scott Wolmering being described as, quote, odd, unquote. The available reviews and description of him focus on his professionalism, expertise, and customer.
That's so weird.
I'm sorry, I'm just amusing myself.
Yeah, it is a straight. I'll tell you what, it's going to change. It's going to change. I think things more than the internet change things. I do.
Yeah, Mike, what do you got, bud? Last thoughts here, Mike. Illuminate Bank, by the way, you guys what are you paying 4% on money in the Twin Cities?
We still got our savings at 4.09% APY on that, which to my knowledge in the Twin Cities is the highest out there. So if you're looking just for like that local bank feel and you just want your money sitting in a spot where it's accessible, but you're still making a good percentage yield back to you, our savings account's a great place to put it.
Yeah, again, Mike Overson and his team, longtime partner with us. Scott, what do we think for the market? The last buyers, sellers, in the last minute here.
I think, and I've been making a lot of calls to my active buyers or people that were going to be getting active. Here's my snapshot of what I think is going to happen. I think the Feds are going to reduce rates at least one or two times. I think that we're going to see that it's going to follow, and that we're going to probably see rates in the low 6s to even high 5s. Now is the time to be actively looking and get under contract. Don't wait for that to happen, and then have prices go through the roof. Be able to get, again, I'm thinking like a 90-day window. So it's a perfect time right now to buy and close, and then maybe refinance or recast. What do you think, Mike?
If we go into the spring market with rates at 5.75 or lower, it's going to be bonkers.
It's going to be nuts.
As a buyer, you don't want to get in that type of situation,
That's right.
type of competition.
That's right.
Hey, Ryan, thanks, bud.
Hey, thank you guys. I'm going to Gemini all day now. This is fun. This is
You're going to be going to Grok
fun.
all day. Hey, it's been a fun show. We hope you had a little fun with us. Reach out anytime. Enjoy this weekend. Take care.
You better go to Grok.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Grok.
Scott.
I think of Gronk whenever I hear Gronk.
I hear Gronk. Yeah, I'm thinking of Gronk.
Hey, Steve, good job, bud. You had to put up with us here with our nonsense,
You're
our
always
AI
entertaining.
nonsense.
It's a good time.
Yeah, wherever you caught us, we appreciate you all. State Fair. We're going to be out State Fair. That'll be fun.
Next Saturday, right next to Martha's Cookies.
Yeah, we'll be out at the booth. Ryan will be joining us too as well. And so enjoy the weekend, everybody. Take care and